but he has to travel.
Are you guys down? Are you guys
So
here?
every once in a while, he has to be on a show, which is fine. So, does he like it?
Yeah, downstairs.
You get any?
Erica, are we waiting? Are we waiting on anyone?
I think he's
Okay. Oh, okay.
Let me log into it just in case.
Walter, at the softball team.
Oh, cool. Okay, we'll let them.
Wow.
They're rarely here.
Nice. Very nice.
Are we good, Erica?
Yes.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Mitchell,
Here.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Here.
Councilman Best,
Present.
Councilwoman Bravo,
Here.
Councilman Vasquez.
Here.
There is a quorum present.
Thank you. I'll stand, please, for the invocation. Oh, Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch down upon us, upon this council, upon our beloved city, that you provide us with wisdom, with courage, and with compassion as we make decisions for the betterment of our future here for our residents, our business community, and all of our visitors in Miami Springs. Amen. Please, we'd like to have actually the girls, is it softball team, come up and would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
You gotta do it.
That was a curveball.
Okay.
Face the flag.
And we'll face this way in the
face, ladies.
flag and you can get us started.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, girls.
Oh, stay there. You're number one.
Oh,
You can,
Okay,
you can
yeah.
stay up.
yes, come on up, come back, actually.
Boy, they get the quick exit pass tonight.
Which
huh?
is-
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
We are recognizing the AIE High School Girls Softball Team, the Lady Aviators, for finishing their season and ranking in the top 10 in Miami-Dade County.
Nice.
Wow.
Okay, so I want. Can you guys hear me? Yep. All right. So I wanted to, I'm going to introduce all the girls, but I wanted to start with Alex Torres, longtime Springs resident, is going to talk about these. You guys can hold your applause for like until the end. He's going to talk about these girls and the core group of this team. That's the AIE High School softball team, where they began here within the city of Miami Springs. So Alex, talk.
All right, thank you, Walter. First of all, thank you to the city managers, the council, mayor. Thank you for having us today. Appreciate you guys doing that. Walter, for putting this together, obviously, and just nothing but pride with this group. You know, we have I think 4 sets of sisters on this team, which all been together in some way. I think they've all gone through the Academy for International Education since kindergarten.
How old were they when they started with you?
Well, a lot of these girls started when they were at least 6 years old, 7 years old. So to have them now, we have our oldest girl is Kelly Gonzalez's daughter, which is our only junior on the team. So she'll be our first graduating senior from the team next year.
Yes.
And then we have 4 sophomores, 1 freshman, I believe 3 or 4 8th graders, and 2 7th graders and 2 6th graders.
Wow.
So that's how young our team is. And to be able to compete at the high school level, which as you guys seen on ESPN and how the sport has really, just sprung into the limelight as far as a competitive and something that people are really gravitating to when they turn on the television nowadays. So just proud and the fact they're representing their school and getting that just recognition in Miami-Dade County, and they're not even able to compete yet in districts, which would have been great this year, but hopefully next year we'll be in, since we're such a new school and still in probation. So just thank you guys for having us.
All right, so I'm gonna answer the question that I asked him, which was, many of them. How many of you guys played for the Miami Springs Lightning in the Miami Springs Little League? Many of them since they were 6 years old here in the city of Miami Springs. Fred, even before that, when it was Otto who was in charge of Miami Springs Little League, they were part of the Miami Springs Lightning, and they've been playing all the way until now, and even playing travel ball. And Alex was their coach. We're also joined with Coach Gonzalez and the other Coach Gonzalez. So many of them started at AIE when they were in kindergarten. They were playing in Miami Springs Little League as the Miami Springs Lightning. And then when they came into middle school, then Miss Gonzalez started the middle school team. So tell us about how it went in middle school.
Hi, good evening. My name is Kelly Gonzalez. I actually started the program 5 years ago when I started teaching at AIE. They didn't have a middle school softball, and I knew all these girls because I actually coached with Alex in Miami Springs Lightning as well. And so I started coaching with my husband, Renee Gonzalez, in middle school. And our first year, we were district runner-ups in Miami-Dade. And then our second and third year, we were winners for middle school in Miami-Dade. And then we opened up the high school program last year, and we were very competitive, even with just having, I think, 6th through 10th graders. We played varsity level games. So I was very impressed. I was very happy and proud to have them since 5 years ago, since most of them were 6th and 7th graders. And then these little ones came up. And Coach Alex, it was Coach Renee and I for the first 3 years. And then we brought in Coach Alex when we started high school last year. And this year we've done even better than anybody expected. So
just one last thing to talk about this year. So they were 2-time district champs in Miami-Dade County as middle schoolers. And then now they are a varsity high school softball team. Raise your hand if you're a senior on this varsity high school team. Raise your hand if you're a junior. Raise your hand if you're a sophomore. Freshman, 8th graders, 7th graders, 6th graders. This is a high school varsity softball team that has very, very few upperclassmen. And so this year, any of you guys that know high school football, there's a guy named Larry Bluestein, which is like the expert on all things high school football in Miami-Dade County. Well, there's a guy that does the same exact thing in softball, and his name is Caravaca, and he has his own website and social media, and he has a ranking of all the teams in Miami-Dade County. That includes public schools, private schools, charter schools, everybody. It's all about, he knows all the teams. And so this year, this high school varsity team that you see here played against the number 9 ranked team, Barbara Goldman, at the beginning of the year, and they lost 3-2. And then they played Florida Christian, who was ranked number 8, and they lost 4-3. Oh, my bad. You guys beat Barbara Goldman 3-2. You lost 4-3 to Florida Christian. Then they played Fort Lauderdale, which is the number 3 ranked team in Broward and one of the best teams in the state, and only lost 3-1. It was their senior night. They were thinking that they were going to get low-hanging fruit. And then they played number 6 ranked Keysgate and beat them 9-0. And at this time, we're like, when's this guy Caravaca going to start? Because every week they would post like upset alert, AIE playing a ranked team, beating a ranked team. And then they played Palma Trinity, who was ranked number 8, beat them 17-2. And then they finally made the district rankings at number 10, and they finished the season ranked number 9. So an incredible achievement by these young ladies right here who have a very bright future ahead of them. And this is not the last that you're going to hear of this team, because they are something to contend with. So I just want to go to each one and have them introduce themselves and what position they play.
I'm Bella Barreiro, and I play third base. I'm Lily Galen, and I play first base. I'm Alexa Torres, and I play shortstop. I'm Olivia Garcia, and I play left field. I'm Michelle Perez, and I play outfield. I'm Mia Gonzalez, I play second base. I'm Christine Gill, I play right field. I'm Isabella Gonzalez, I play outfield. I'm Alexa Garofalo, and I'm the catcher. I'm Sofia Garcia, and I play third base.
I'm Mia Gill and I'm a pitcher.
The girls who are not here. How about a round of applause for them? And then if the members of the council want to come down, we'll take some pictures and have them on their way.
And I just want to thank the coaching staff because I know no matter how talented someone is, if they don't have the mentoring and the coaching staff that believes in them and devotes the time to them, a lot of dreams aren't possible. So thank you. Okay, so the next agenda item is the art of the month. Do we have, let's see, the Schmidt family? Are they here tonight? Okay, well, I will just mention that the yard of the month for May is to the Schmidt family who lives at 101 Truxton Drive. So we'll hold the certificate and get it to them, but I want to encourage everyone to, if you get a chance, drive by and enjoy, appreciate the beautiful yard that they've provided for our community. And I want to extend my thanks to them and all of the residents that work really, really hard at making your yards beautiful. And, you know, so much of it is for the enjoyment of the others, the ones that pass by. So we really appreciate that. The next agenda item is we're going to recognize the City Hall lobbyist, the City Hall artist, City Hall lobby artist, excuse me, City Hall lobby artist. Are they up? Hey, welcome. Come on up. This is from Miami Springs. These students are from Miami Springs Senior High School, the students in the digital art exhibition program. And as you came up into our lobby, I think anyone that saw that work, I was blown away by it. I mean, this is really, really amazing. Just it's so unique, and the colors and the subject matter and everything. Thank you so much for beautifying our City Hall for the month of May. We're very, very appreciative. Would you like to say something and introduce the students? And I know Tino's here too. No, he left. Okay.
I'm Miss Goldstein. I am the art teacher at Miami Springs Senior High School. What's super special about the exhibit you're looking at downstairs is I don't teach digital at all. In fact, if you ask me about certain programs, that's not my forte at all. So these students on their own or in collaboration with the technology teacher, and then I work with them from the aesthetic side, and then we produce the art. But this is not a class. This is not something where I sit down and say, okay, we're going to learn how to use this software. No, this is their desire to marry the digital technology program and the visual arts program in and of themselves.
Wow.
And so this work gets recognized. I also allow them to use it for college level credit, and we submit. So as their work gets strong enough, some of what you're seeing is part of their AP portfolios for this year. So it's super exciting to me to see students in this day and age that driven to learn and to grow on their own without that additional structure. So I just wanted to make sure we were all, this is definitely them, not me. I just happen to be the guide in the general vicinity. And so these are our future budding. I don't have a single senior in the bunch. So if you're here next year, you should see more newer, exciting work. And I just
Them.
Turn around, ladies. Okay, so at the far end, you have Ruth Gonzalez. And then Angelique, I'm gonna butcher your last name. Go for it. There we go. And then we have Kayla Leva. And we have Ruth Rodriguez. No, Rosalind.
Rosalind.
I know, you got the tricky and Rosalind Rodriguez. And so these are my 4 young artists. Sadly, not everyone that worked on some of the stuff downstairs, but these are your main players. So you
Huh.
have more than one piece down there.
Thank you again, girls. Let's wait 1 second and we'll go down and take a photo with you. But I just want to say that, the Art in City Hall program is, to me, it's such a special program because it allows anyone in Miami Springs to showcase their talent. And we're the beneficiaries of it because you come into City Hall and every month we have a new exhibit. This one is just amazing. I really encourage everyone as you step out, take some time to look at the work of these young students. I think we're going to be seeing them in major galleries in the future. So thank you again. Okay, so now we move to open forum. And I have 2 persons signed up. The first one is Nancy Jones. And I just want to mention, again, I like to mention at the beginning of each open forum that the purpose of open forum is for someone to speak to all the council together at one time. We have your ears. It is a one-way communication. We listen to you. We don't respond, but you have all of our attention and that of everyone in the audience and anyone listening to the meeting too. So
Great.
this is your opportunity.
Thank you. I'm here, Nancy Jones, 255 Springs Avenue. I'm here with my husband, Ralph Wakefield, and we are the Pelican Playhouse. He's the artistic director and I'm the theater manager. And so we're just here to take a moment to say thank you so much for all the support that you give to the Pelican Playhouse. It's tremendous. I can't tell you the number of people who have theaters in Miami-Dade County and they walk into our space and go, really? You guys get this? And we're like, yeah, it's great. We have a show that's opening on Friday, so we thought we'd take the opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Ralph is passing out flyers now for you guys to hear about the show. It's 2 acts. The first act is I Hate Shakespeare. So that's for all of our people who say, well, I can't come see Midsummer because I don't like Shakespeare. This is the show for them. And our second act is called Girls to the Rescue. And in each of the little vignettes, a girl rescues everybody. So they're a lot of fun. Sometimes we have special guests who come in as actors. And in this case, we have Bob Best. He is one of our performers this time around. He's in I Hate Shakespeare. Main reason we called him in is that people get killed in Act 1 and Hamlet, naturally. And Bob does a better death scene than anyone else that we've ever had on stage. So please don't miss it.
We're going to have to watch that.
There we go. Oh, no, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, good.
I'm going just to watch you die.
Twice.
Twice.
He dies not once, but twice.
Bob, at least you're not one of the girls to the rescue, so you're good. You're good.
It's almost juxtaposed.
But anyway, thank you all very much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ralph.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm going to make sure to try to go. And Ralph and Nancy, thank you for so many years of the Pelican Playhouse, your passion for, I always say that not everyone in our community, recreation has such a big spectrum, and not everyone wants to do a sport or is interested in doing a sport. And having the opportunity to be in theater is that we can do that here in our community. And the projects that the performances, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that you put on are top notch. So thank you so much. Okay, so the next on the public forum is George Santine.
George Santine, 1249 Heron Avenue. But last meeting, I was very glad to hear that you guys are put the foot on the pedal to get this parking fees concessions established. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm especially glad that Councilman Fadjet and the mayor were upset enough to make sure that this oversight was not swept under the rug, especially our city attorney, who is going to continue to pursue this. I believe because of the developer's misrepresentation to us, there's avenues to collect this fee still. And one of the things that we talked that day was about the 53 spaces that we supposedly gave to them. The way I read it, and I wish Mr. Hyde was here because he was in the middle of that oversight and he should answer a lot of questions. It's 47 spaces. And part of that traffic study, they put 70 shared spaces to do that math. And 70 of those spaces are in the garage for the residents to use with gate entry. So technically, if that holds true, the only way we can find out is by going to them now and make sure that doesn't happen. But if it does, that's the misrepresentation that I believe it's wrong. And the second thing is, we have yet to establish what kind of uses we're going to have downstairs in the commercial side. So until you don't find out the uses, we cannot find out the exact number. So that's another avenue. And another avenue that I heard on the last meeting, and I was also happy to say that Councilman Fayette was upset enough to make sure that we don't go ahead and do a new racquetball for $300,000. To me, I am completely surprised that this was earmarked in our budget for next year so they can do a new racquetball. For in all respect to the former mayor and his buddies, that is not enough to show demand. Manny was here. He's the guy in charge of the tennis court. And he basically said it in front of all of us here. He basically said that to his best knowledge, those are about the only ones that do have demand to this racquetball. Very few. And we're about to spend $300,000. A lot of better things to spend on. And the last thing to me is that I wanted to talk about was, I know that you mentioned the tennis courts. And to me, it's a great idea. The golf course should have the tennis courts. And Mayor Mitchell, the reason that you've been hearing this since the 80s and me in the 90s is because the old guard at the golf course didn't want that to happen. They don't want any changes to happen. Maybe things are going to get better now. And they have gotten better since Mr. Odell has taken over. But at the end of the day, it belongs there. And yes, Mr. Odell has to be consulted, but he works for the city. At the end of the day, it's you guys and our city residents' decision about the tennis courts belong there. There's nothing wrong with it. A great idea. And if pickleball becomes another avenue, I'm fine with that if the residents want it. Okay. One of the things that to me that I'm astonished too, considering that this whole thing with the new program, the Mills Reefs and the Freedom Park. I don't know if you're aware of, but the First Tee program is the most beloved program. It almost stopped that project from happening. That's how much they love that youth program there. I'd like to know from Mr. Odell why we didn't pursue that. The Beckham Group gave $3 million to relocate it. I believe, I'm not sure if I heard Miami Lakes or Key Biscayne, but we're the neighboring city to this project. You would thought that we would have had a shot at, and there might be an explanation for it, but I would like to know. It's $3 million to relocate one of the most loved programs in our youth, especially the First Tee program. Enough that it almost stopped this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Santine. Okay, so now we move to the next agenda item, which is approval of the council minutes from the April 25th regular meeting.
Madam Chair, motion to move item 6A.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez,
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. We have no reports from boards and commissions. By the way, how is that coming, Erica? Because I think we
have
wanted to have,
education, I believe, is coming in June. We don't have a chair or a vice chair yet. They've
That was
met
my
twice.
recommendation. They have
Yes.
one more meeting in May and then they're gonna break for the summer. So June would be a good time.
okay, so, and then are there any other boards? Because I know,
Architectural is, I
well,
believe.
that hasn't met, so that'll be a hard, that
I
we're
think
pulling
we-
that
we
together
have a
again.
Full board. I think we had some appointments already,
Yes.
so we should convene.
Okay, so all the other boards, we've
Have
had
met.
them.
Oh, I'm
meet-
sorry, have.
Okay, and then we need to continue that every year
Yes.
to ask them to come back.
Recreation would be another one that we probably would like to have.
Recreation started, we
They
had them.
came,
they
it
might
was
have been the
Mr.
first one.
Gonzalez, Fred Gonzalez represented
Gave a
the
wonderful
board. at
speech.
the
Yeah,
time.
Fred
Oh,
came and
all right,
spoke
all
with
right, yeah, Fred, that's right.
But we'll do it
Little
again
League,
on a
yeah.
yearly
Yes,
basis.
it'll
Please
be
ask
on
them
the
to, okay, wonderful.
Mayor, if I could just say, I think
Yes,
it's
sir.
great that all the boards are back and active and have been working and coming in, and it shows that we kind of stuck to it and we got the ball rolling. So I'm really pleased to see that's happened.
Well, and also that we're asking them to come in once a year,
Yeah,
or more
it-
often. They can certainly come anytime they want, but at least once a
It
year
gives
so
them
that
something to-
we,
yeah.
you know, like I always say, we were operating on parallel universes and, you know, we need to.
But it wasn't the
together.
first time that we had committed to trying to get that done, and it's gotten done. So I think that's great.
Okay, great. And we're looking forward then to hearing from the Educational Advisory Board in June. Okay, the next agenda item, we have no public hearings, so we'll go to the consent agenda. And I want to know first if there's anyone has any of the items under consent agenda that you want to pull out to discuss separately.
No, ma'am,
Okay,
I do not.
if not, is there a motion?
Motion to move items A through and including F.
Second.
Okay, do we have an addition to F? Yes. Oh, no, that's all right. All right. Is there any discussion? Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you. We move to old business, an update on the possible location of the pickleball and racquetball courts.
Yes, Mayor and Council, it's Omar on Zoom
Yes.
and Paul is here. Subsequent to our last meeting, we met out at the golf course with Paul and with Omar and Tammy. And there are a few issues with the golf course. I know that we had talked about moving the tennis course and possibly a racquetball court over there. We have two hurdles that we found out about, and one of them is the ongoing WASA project for the pump stations. It turns out that a lot of the work is going right through that area. They're also relocating the road. I think they're making the road a little bit wider that's currently there. Then the other issue we have is the design, the renovation of the golf course, because it includes, from what Lori's telling me, a short game area in that area. So we would need for those two projects to
I'm sorry, what did
end.
you say it includes? in that area?
Short game.
Oh, short game. Oh, okay. I thought you said short. game.
So we would need for those two projects to end to see what space is available out there that we could use to eventually do that. The timing is a problem because the renovation we know will probably be over sometime in 2023. The unknown is WASA. At the rate they're going, what's your estimate, Paul?
You want to come up,
Come on
Paul?
up.
And while he's coming up real quick, I just wanted to add as part of the redesign of the course itself, not only is the roadway and all of that going to be expanded, but also the driving range.
The driving range.
We're going to expand over that way as well, because the revenues that Paul gets from that driving range are phenomenal. So that'll be part of the expansion on that.
So the little area they have to the south side there for chipping right now, that'll go away and you're just going to extend it?
No, it'll be added
Yeah,
to.
okay.
Yeah, it'll be added to the driving range.
Yeah.
Reference to the WASA project, we asked WASA to do everything in conjunction with us So when they came in to rip up the space and do their pump houses, do the demolition and the rebuild, it could be done at the same time we were doing the golf course. So they could finish up, then we could finish up right behind them. Well, they've advised us they're waiting on the motor, the injectors, the pumps to be installed. When they're going to get a notice from the manufacturers that the pumps will be ready. So they can't really, they haven't told us.
They work a little slower than you guys, I think.
Yeah, they do.
Well, it's a
They do.
part-
And I mean, we started
Yeah.
this 3 years ago.
Yeah,
So it's not like the new pumps were a surprise.
yeah.
Well, Paul, wasn't
Availability.
that also the reason that we had to kick the renovation of the entire course a year? Because we were waiting AWP, waiting parts
We
for
were-
the
yeah, we were
irrigation
waiting
stuff.
parts.
So it's a
The
similar
irrigation.
problem then, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be able to get ours as
Yeah,
I can't control. They
right.
can't tell us when they're going to get the pumps in.
Yeah, gotcha.
Paul, how's it going to affect, in the event that you guys finish your renovations first and then they're doing their work, how is it going to affect you and the golf course and your revenue?
Well, we negotiated with the county and into our package. When we're done, if they have to come in after us and rip up, they have to do 100% replacement.
Okay.
Even a contingent, I think they have to reserve a certain amount of the same turf, the field that our turf comes out of, so it'll match. So they have to go ahead and put that on reserve, the county does, and pay for it. So if they have to come in and do the rent, it's expensive.
There's something in it
You
for
would think-
them
you would
then.
think that they could get it all matched up together. It's a money savings for the county. It's a great savings for us to get it all done at the same time.
Is it going to affect 10 or any of the other holes? How's that going to affect you when they go to do it?
Well, there's basically about 4 or 5 holes that are really affected. 2, we know we have to move a green on one and a tee on one. That's
On 2.
13 and number 14.
Okay,
We have to
13 and
move
14.
the tee on 13 and the green on 14.
Yeah, because there's a pump house there.
Yeah, there's a pump house there. I mean, but the expanse of that pump house and it comes into play. So
Yeah.
it has to be moved. Both those items have to be moved.
So the bottom line is, and that's why Omar is here, that this is a long-term project. Short-term, if we want to try and have pickleball courts, the only spot to do them is in Stafford Park. And the next step to that would be, we're setting up a meeting with George from B&A out there to look at the area that we have in mind and make sure that it's not affected by the stormwater project that we're doing over there. If it is, then we got to go back to the drawing board. But if it isn't, that would be a perfect spot where we could start developing and getting quotes on building the pickleball court out there.
Yeah, remember at our last meeting, we had this discussion and it was stated that that's a very low-lying area over there that's in question. So in a way, it really doesn't matter. I mean, if it's going to be low-lying unless we bring Phil in and raise it, right?
And that's why I might want to meet with our engineers out there to see what the impact is. Although this stormwater project that we're doing will probably
We'll hope that.
mitigate most of the
Some of
flooding
it,
in that
yeah.
area.
Yeah.
That's why we want to go out there and look at it, and probably for next meeting, we'll tell you what the report is from them and see if council is in favor of us looking at that particular area for these courts.
Through the chair,
Surely.
Paul, now that you're here, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I've been meaning to meet with you and I apologize. My schedule has been really crazy. So I want to ask you a question. In respects to the golf course that was purchased off the June Road, what is that golf course called where the new stadium is going to go?
Maurice International Links.
Right. How do you think that's going to be beneficial for a golf course? I think people are going to migrate over here to Miami Springs.
We don't have space.
So how are we going to prepare?
Yeah,
Because I know
I'm serious. We don't have space for Saturday and Sunday play. We don't have space for Friday play, Wednesdays and Tuesdays, depending on the weather. You know, it's tough to get a tee time. So everybody's asking, oh, you must love the fact that Reese really doesn't affect us one way or the other. We're already full. So only we're going to do is possibility to look at rates adjustment, supply and demand.
So as far as pickleball for staff, I don't remember going to pickleball to Stafford. How was that an idea? Is pickleball or tennis courts not favorable for the country club? How do you, what's your input
It's not
on
that
that?
they're not favorable. I think it's just the timing. We don't know how long WAS is going to be. You don't want to build something like, one of the biggest problems we had, and it's frustrating for me, is how the county can't get their projects in line, especially when this is a cost savings for them. So if we finish our project, they have to come back, rip up part of our project and then restore it.
It costs them more.
Quite expensive to the county. So, it's somebody getting off their tail end and moving. They're going, we need these pumps. When can we get them? And can we then line it up with the golf course renovation project?
So you don't foresee in the future tennis or pickleball at the golf course?
Not in the immediate future, because we don't know where WASA is going to put us. I mean, you want to do it? I'm sure there's ways of doing it. There's space, but how much are you going to build and then rip up?
I mean, I think what the councilwoman is asking, once the WASA project is done, and once your renovation is done, if we decide on a space out there where the archery was, for example, that we could use for this, would that be something that would
Depending on, we have
complement
2
it?
tennis courts at the city, right?
4,
Behind it,
no,
or
5.
4?
We have
5?
Yeah.
I know they're jammed in there.
Yeah.
It's because there's no parking and stuff behind the library. There's space. We've discussed when I first got here about tennis moving there because of the shifting soil behind the library. But we, at the same time, our wants and to grow the game. And it's funny how you're sitting there and you're talking about youth. Well, we're trying to go the game of golf through youth, and we've been able to do it through actually COVID has brought out a lot of kids and girls. We have more girls playing. We have a lot more kids involved. We have families involved. So we don't have a short game area for them to work on or them to start, like with one club or something like that. We don't have that right now. So we're trying to build that there as well. So there's space there. Sounds like there's a lot of needs, a lot of wants. So if there's a way to commingle all that, well, maybe so.
Also,
Through the chair.
I wanted to get the timing correct. So when WASA finishes, then we can start the golf course renovation?
No.
Or we're going to do the golf course renovation anyway for next year?
We've already put them on notice.
And hopefully WASA will finish then or in the middle or whatever, but there's the
Done by
potential that we'll be done with our golf course renovation sometime, in approximately a year or so or nearing it, and they still may not.
The well drilling is completed. We completed well drilling. We did that over the last 3 years. All the wells are re-drilled. Everything's re-drilled. Now is the demolition of the old pump buildings and the placing of the new pumps and then the building of the new buildings.
If we do the golf course renovation and then WASA comes in, who knows, a year later and starts doing their work. And I know the county's supposed to put things back as they found them, but that too can take forever.
Sure.
So my concern is, they're going to do it, but we could be waiting a year after we've done the renovation that they've messed it up. And is there
probably 3 or 4 holes would be affected? They would have to come in and pay renovation money on, and that's with just portions of the holes.
Okay.
They're having to transit across or transit.
Okay, so it shouldn't be major
Shouldn't be
damage
major.
either.
Other than the major ones are moving the tee, moving the green. WASA's already agreed to pay for those that we'll do in the reconstruction of the golf course, the renovation.
What are your thoughts as far as having the golf? I mean, obviously you're running the golf course, so you're the one that knows about the management there and the challenges and the opportunities as far as having the pickleball and the tennis. I know this is something the community has talked about for a long, long time. We've talked about here that what the reason I think it would be very beneficial is that we don't have any other recreational opportunities throughout the city where someone can also enjoy a nice lunch or a nice dinner or nice drinks, so this meshes the whole 19 right now and just expands upon the opportunities of us enjoying and our visitors and everyone enjoying.
Every facility I've had in my 40-year career, I've had a pool, tennis courts, and a golf course.
Right.
Sometimes polo fields. So
and tennis and racquetball crowd are the ones that would.
Racquetball, it's They're country club activities.
Right, exactly. That they would also enjoy the restaurant,
They're
you
all
know,
country club
atmosphere and
It's not
having
like it's
meals
like,
there and
"Ooh, that's never
drinks.
been done before." Like I said, in my 40 years, I've never been without.
What about the other property that, I know this is before I was on the council, but when, the site for the senior center was being looked at, and it's a property near Curtis Mansion that's also the golf course. And that area, that's not going to be impacted by the Wausau work, right?
Not at all. All the Wassa works on the back nine.
Okay, and that is part of the country club, the golf course, and evidently we don't use that.
I don't know how much of that is our land. I think there by the Curtis Mansion wasn't a good.
Where the
portion of
senior
that land.
center
Where
was
the
looked
senior
at.
center was
Well-
gonna be, which is the part they use for their wedding pictures and all
Right.
that. That whole area is ours. But I know there was an issue with golf balls.
Oh,
That and the noise. For weddings might be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
there's
be, you'd
property
be
there.
abutted
Well,
right
the
up
golf
against the
cour- the
hotels
golf balls
too, which are.
issue
they'd
would
be
be
in their
major
backyard. right?
concern. Yeah,
Big
that would,
concern.
the others probably. Okay, so we're back to if, and I'm just trying to figure out as far as for the golf course, if we want to do the pickleball and the racquetball courts at the golf course, that one area is the only opportunity.
From what I'm hearing right now, it's my own thought here is that it appears that Stafford is going to the top of the list in my book as far as location for it. Because I don't know if you want to get involved in this crosshairs of construction and
No, through the chair.
a lot of unknowns, you know. But Stafford seems to be wide open, and if we can get authority to go in there, and we're reasonably convinced that the water isn't going to be a concern in terms of flooding the course out, it seemed to me that with proper fill, that would be the ideal location as we speak.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you want a short-term solution to having pickleball courts, the only place right now we could do it is Stafford. Long-term, 2, 3, 4 years down the line,
Start looking at the
we
golf
look
course,
at bringing, once the golf course is done,
Yep.
redesign, Wassa finishes their work, we look at different areas of land out there that we could turn into tennis courts, racquetball court, and the whole works.
Okay, well, Councilman Vasquez. and
Yeah,
anyone
no, I
wanted
just
to
wanted to
ask
add that I was,
questions.
I'm very concerned about this. I'm not concerned about Paul and the golf club and the work that's going to get done. That's going to get done. I'm concerned that it's just now been pushed back some. But I'm concerned about the counties not being able to, we don't know when this could be, but so I really agree with Councilman Best and others that, I was a little resistant to the, to the park, because of some of the changes there. But if we want to move forward with this agenda, it seems to me that that's the most likely place to think about. I think looking at the golf course area is 2 or 3 years down the line, once everything's done, particularly the county's work, right? Because it's just unpredictable. I love the idea. And then you said, a pool, racket, tennis and all of these could eventually be there. I agree, Madam Mayor, that, it's important for a whole 19 people to have an opportunity to be able to eat and drink something. It's all good, but I think that we are, looking at this other alternative as the best place. Providing, as the city manager said, speaking with the engineers, really looking at the work that's going to be there, if that is viable.
Yeah. The other thing that we have to contend with, of course, is that the construction now, the ongoing construction or the construction to come, that's going to go on with the redoing of all the fairways and everything, is not going to start until April of 23. Is that correct?
March of 20.
March of 23 and into what, October, Paul, something like that?
Correct.
And that'll be it. But that's what, year and a half from now?
Year and a half.
Yep.
So-
That's right. How can you not get a pump? You gotta ask your folk for 2
I know,
years.
I know.
How can you not get a pump?
It's all over though. I mean, the stuff that you're hearing of supply chain and.
Yeah.
I feel your pain, Paul. I think you want to just get a bunch of people and get out there and get those pumps and bring them yourself, right?
Okay. Councilman,
Paul, while I have you here, one more question, kind of unrelated, but what are rates? How do they compare? Like, who do you compare yourself in terms of other municipal courses around here? And how do you think we compare in terms of our rates?
We're in comparative with we look at Miami Shores,
Right.
We look at Miami Lakes, we look at Key Biscayne, we look at Palmetto, we used to look at Bell Reese International Links and try and be competitive in that group when we were just coming into our own. Now that we're into our own, we've raised our rates to go with the demand, and we'll continue to stay, competitive, but yet we're going to be on the upper end of the competitive scale.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
And I'd love to hear it. We're number 3
Number 3
in.
In the
Soon
county.
move to number 2.
Oh my goodness, of top rated golf courses.
Top-rated golf courses.
Thank
public
you,
golf
Lori, all your staff. I know you've done a total turnaround of
They've all done
our
great.
golf
It's a
course,
team
and
effort.
Good work,
it's
Paul.
really a showcase for our city, and and a tremendous recreation opportunity for anyone in the county and visitors. You're right by the
yeah.
We
right.
get a lot of visitors.
I would just say, let's go ahead. We'll wait and see what presents with Stafford Park. I am hesitant. I'm going to be honest right now. My first blush thoughts are, this is a long-term project. And, if there's no immediate urgency that we have to have pickleball. Obviously, we've had some residents that would like to have it. Obviously, the racquetball courts are an embarrassment, and people should be able to, play racquetball. If we have racquetball courts, they should be decent and nice. And we've talked about the combining them with the 3-wall and the 4-wall. Is that what you call them, Councilman Fett? So these are really long-term, this is for the future too. So perhaps when we get the information with Stafford Park, we need to look at it, and if you have to delay a major kitchen renovation in your house for 2 years so you can do what you need to do, sometimes you do that. I'm not going one way or the other. Right now, I think we just all need to think about that. And sometimes things move faster.
Thank you, Paul.
Right.
You never know.
Thank you.
Keep hope alive.
Thank you very much, Paul and Lori.
And
Lori, doing good?
before they go, I just wanted to introduce George Ferreras with Romeo Ahamil, our engineers. And
George.
he's working along with lady next to him is Jan. She's the golf designer.
Oh, okay.
Dan.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Same here.
And
Thank you.
behind her, you all know Lori.
Yes, Lori.
There from- And of course,
And of course, Laz down there in the
Laz.
back. Yeah.
I know Friday, I think it was Friday, yes, that we were at the golf course, and they were having the Coach Cottle Cares tournament. And it was just amazing to see everyone lined up for the tournament, but also the driving range. These aren't people that are in the tournament. The driving range was packed on a Friday afternoon in the middle of the sun at 1 p.m., something like this. It's always, so like you said, it's a great, it's nice to see that our recreational opportunities keep expanding, keep improving. We should, we're working in that direction. The city has always been moving in that direction for many, many years, and we'll continue to do that. So thank you. Okay, so the next agenda item is under new business, a request by Lieutenant Claire Gurney.
Yes, Mayor and Council, you have in your packet a memo that was sent to me from Lieutenant Claire Gurney. Again, we're coming up on the annual Charles B. Stafford Memorial Golf Tournament, which will be Friday, May 20th. And as you can see from the memo, the city of Miami Springs has supported this event since its inception. Last year, $2,000 is each year, $2,000 is budgeted for the event. To commemorate and honor the 30th anniversary of Officer Stafford's passing last year, the Miami Springs Council members approved a $5,000 donation. I am respectfully requesting that the council consider increasing the donation from $2,000 for this year's 15th annual event. Proceeds from the tournament benefit the Police Office Assistance Trust, POAT, which is dedicated to the law enforcement community of Miami-Dade by providing assistance to the officers and their families in times of hardship and personal crisis, and the Miami Springs FOP, which is comprised of local law enforcement officers, which benefits local organizations. Got it right?
Perfect.
Through the chair,
Thank you for having me, but I would like to give some accolades to Paul and Lori. This is our 15th year that we're hosting this tournament. They are very, very instrumental in the success of our tournament, because if that course was not in the shape it is, we would not be having the participation of the golfers that we have. Our goal is usually to sell the tournament out, which is 144 players. We've done that a few years in a row. Sometimes you don't want that many because it slows the play down so much. But I have repeat customers every single year that have played in that tournament every year. It's one of their favorite events. It's for a great cause, and it really just showcases Miami Springs.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to move to the approval of this request and support.
Okay, if I understand, we have, is it 2,000 is what we have slated?
Right.
Yes.
And so,
There's an increase.
so
she's
what are
requesting
your,
an
what is your move?
Requesting the increase, yeah, as
To the-
as the city manager outlined.
Mayor, I think we should double it to 4,000.
Okay, good. But I think
Okay,
before
so
we,
wait 1 second. You have a motion
Yeah.
Okay.
Double it to
Is-
4,000.
to double it to 4,000?
double it to
Okay, is there a
4,000.
second?
I'll second that.
Okay,
Okay,
any discussion?
yes, for
sir.
discussion, Mayor, if I
Yes,
might.
sir.
That's out of city council
Yes,
budget, right?
yes.
What are we looking at right now?
What- That we have left?
Yeah.
After this, probably about 2,000.
We have what, till October?
End of
Till
Sep-
September 30th.
end of September, yeah, right. You know what? You want to throw the dice? I'll second it.
It's already been
It's already
seconded.
seconded. It's I'll third. Yeah, I'll third it. That's all right. Yeah, fine. Okay. We got to be careful now, you guys, the rest of the way here.
And
Not
I would
much going on
Thank
from
you
here
first
to
of all
then.
very much. Oh, we haven't gone for a vote yet.
We gotta vote yet,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Don't take us yet. Don't take us yet.
You know, yeah, I
Is there
sit- I
any
sit on
other
the pension board. You
discussion?
think I would know this already?
It's out of the bag yet.
Okay, call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet,
Yes.
Councilman Best,
Aye.
Councilwoman Bravo,
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Well, thank you very much. And I would also like to extend an invitation for you all to come out. The tournament's next Friday. We have registration at 11:30. The tournament's a shotgun start at 1 p.m. And we'd love to have our dignitaries out there to see how this goes, and to see what we do out there.
Perfect.
You mean not
Thank
this
you.
Friday, the
Next
following?
Friday.
Next Friday.
Yes.
Like the 20th, I think.
May 20th.
Nice.
A week from Friday.
Thanks, Claire.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for doing this, Lieutenant. Okay. So now we're moving right along, and we have other business, and it's a request by Girl Scout Troop Leader Connie Rodriguez for Girl Scout Troop 2564, one of our hardworking Girl Scout troops. They all are, but
Good evening. Thank you, council and city for giving us this opportunity. I only have a few Girl Scouts because they're busy testing this week. Anyhow, but I brought my daughter Bella Rodriguez and Allison Fink, two of my very hardworking Girl Scouts. I just wanted to let you know that we worked really hard to go to Savannah, which is kind of like the Mecca of Girl Scouts, right? That's like the experience. Last year, because of COVID, we had to postpone it. And so we were going to go this year. But basically everything we planned has fallen through. So we were going to go by train, and then Amtrak canceled our routing. So now I'm scrambling to get like a van and just trying to like really be able to make this trip become a reality for the girls. And I'm coming before you. I've never asked anything. In fact, it's been the opposite. I think my girls have gone above and beyond the call whenever you guys needed us. But this is the one time that we're kind of like the roles have reversed, and I need some help in order to be able to get these girls to Savannah. We plan to go in June and in about 6 weeks, and we don't have a lot of time to really fundraise. You know, they're really busy with school, and it's just like a really hard time for us. So right now, based on my budget, we're about $1,500 short with the last minute change and the transportation. The hotel costs we actually saved our hotel from last year. They pushed it to this year. They canceled our booking last year. They didn't let me know. And so what I was planning to spend $2,000 in hotel, now it's over $4,000. So we're trying to, make what we can, make it work, but we're just a little bit short. So whatever you can do to support us and my girls would be greatly appreciated.
I don't, we just discussed this a minute ago, but I'm going to bring it up again. Has this ever been done? Have we ever tapped the general fund to replenish the council, but the council funding ever?
no, and that's something
Because-
that this year, I think it's been unprecedented.
no,
The
you're right.
request we've had from, clubs and all this, which I just spoken to William, I think for the budget session, we're going to have to come up with a way perhaps of allowing groups to earn the money in the city, because like you said, we're down to, and we have to make
We're-
this last till September. There's, there's no way to stretch this till September. So that's one thing for the budget workshop in August, of figuring out a way that when groups come to us and we want to help everyone, but obviously, and when we hear from, I know I get from residents, just some concerns of, that if anyone comes up in front of us, that we just, so perhaps we need to figure out a way that we can make opportunities for groups to earn money, helping in the city somehow. And that's just a thought for the future for August, but this is what's in front of us now.
Did you say Amtrak rerouted you through Savannah?
They ended up canceling our booking, and then they offered a different routing, which we were not going to take. We
Is-
weren't going
is the
to
Sav-
arrive at 1 a.m. So now we're going to have to drive up, which is like what we weren't really anticipating to do. So
I can tell you, Connie, as twice that I've made the trip with two different daughters.
Yeah.
It's a super memorable trip.
Oh.
And the first year we went with that troop, we had two 15-passenger vans reserved, and they canceled on us that morning, and we wound up driving 6 rental cars. The moms, I mean, the one that I drove was like a tiny little, I don't know what, and there were 3 girls, and that was that morning. It was like everyone, okay.
I know.
So, and it's those kinds of, the next time we went up on the train, and that was very,
what we wanted
with the other troop. Yeah,
So-
right.
Mayor, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
William, what are the expenditures that we foresee from now till October for the council fund?
Unless more groups come, I think,
Well,
I mean, I don't foresee anything that you would.
League of Cities
We
and
have League of Cities.
That's all,
dinners,
that's all taken care of
budgeted
already?
Separately.
Okay, so we're 1,500. Why don't we throw 500 at this?
I'll second that, just with
Wait,
discussion.
are you making a motion?
I am, ma'am.
Okay.
Motion to move that we grant the troop $500 toward their trip.
Just to be fair across the board, and we'll just seal it.
We'll worry about
seal
it,
out
the
for
rest of it later.
rest of
Yeah.
groups. Yeah.
All right, so you're seconding it, Councilwoman?
Let the record show we're getting tapped out. For
We gotta know.
Everybody, we're
I-
getting tapped
for
out over here.
discussion,
And left.
I'm going to say, since there's a first and a second, and we did it, but I think we're going to have to come up with also, as far as whether it's trips that will support, a list, and we'll work on it for this budget of perhaps how often a group can come to us. And I'm saying it now because it's just things to keep into.
Yeah, it's good. to s-
It can't be on a yearly basis, clearly. How often, what types of things, will be. I think we owe that to our residents to be a little more, because obviously we all want to be nice, but we have a
Through the chair.
fiduciary responsibility to our residents. So we'll do that for the budget workshop, and perhaps all of you can think of some ideas on that, and also how if somebody needs to earn money for a group, something that we can do here in the city to provide them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I know we've always tried to keep that lean, during budget process. The amount of the council budget for the year, we've always tried to keep it, I've even recommended in past councils that we reduce it, usually utilizing the money for other things. But it's clear to me now that we're starting to get so much action coming in that we might have to reconsider that in terms of putting more money in the budget going forward.
Or
this.
coming up with specifics as to,
Limitations.
Through the chair.
yes, sir.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add that I absolutely agree that we should develop some criteria. Kind of like what we did with the boards and commissions. Just put it down in writing. We expect you guys to come before us, and they did come before us. And I think that part of what we're seeing is that after COVID, groups are doing more, right? Their event was canceled last year, and they wouldn't honor the reservation that they made. They say, yeah, you can come, but now you have to pay double. And then Amtrak changed their schedules, and it's made things more complicated. So I agree that we need to have a criteria and consider, I think I agree anyway, with Councilman Best's thoughts about maybe increasing the money, something that residents would feel comfortable with if they understand the range of things that these organizations do, right? I think it's hard to put a number on them, but it's important, right? Because I know for instance, the Girl Scouts, and it's my own bias, right? Because I've seen them at every fruit drive, the veterans, I mean, the fourth, all of the events in the city, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. And they really haven't asked.
Right.
And we supported quite a few groups. So I think that the idea of coming up with some things that are in writing that our residents can know about,
Yeah.
that the council has made a decision to continue supporting some groups, but here are some criterias, and there's going to be a kind of a budget for it, right? And this is what's going to be it for whatever fiscal year. But I totally agree with all of those.
The other thing in the immediate future here, relative to the Girl Scout troop, with the upcoming production of the Shakespeare piece by the Pelican Playhouse, the girls will be running the refreshment stand for 2 weekends in a row for the Playhouse.
Donate the service. They need.
And
the service.
that's totally donated, and I'm not even gonna. I mean, I could go on and on what they've done relative to the American Legion and up all the way down.
I just wanted to point out to you that the part of the council's budget that we use is the city events budget, it's called. And in this year's budget, historically, we've always budgeted about $8,000 that fund. In this year's budget, it was reduced to $4. That's why we're getting close to being tapped out.
We reduced it.
Food for thought.
Thank you for coming in.
All right, so we need to
We
take a
gotta vote,
vote.
right?
Yes,
Yes.
we have a first and a second. Call the vote, please.
Vice Mayor Fahet.
Yes.
Councilman Best.
Aye.
Councilwoman Bravo.
Yes.
Councilman Vasquez.
Yes.
Mayor Mitchell.
Yes.
The motion carries.
All right.
Thank
And I
you,
want to
folks.
thank Connie and the other troop leaders and the Girl Scouts for your troop truly does do so much in our city, and they're so involved always. And we greatly appreciate that.
Very proud of their growth. I mean, they started as little kindergartners and now they're just growing and blossoming, and it helps when we live in a community that stands behind us.
Absolutely.
And so, and I had the conversation with Victor, I made it clear, we've never asked for funds. We really do our best but we're just kind of like in this pickle, and it's just unfortunate with everything going on. So anything you guys have done to support us, we really appreciate it. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank
you for your
you.
Thanks,
service to the
Connie.
community.
Fun. Okay, so we're moving right along to reports and recommendations from our esteemed city attorney,
No report this evening.
city manager.
No, Mayor, just want to, I know I informed you last week when we got the news that we were awarded $174,000 grant to do our sustainability assessment from the state. So that's coming up, and hopefully this is a study and assessment that we will need in the future to get future grants to help the city as far as climate change, sea level rise and all that. So we want to thank the state, and we want to thank Mayor Nahamil, who actually applied and did all the background work to get us this grant. So wanted to thank you for that. I know Tammy has some events for you, but I just want to point out the one on May 21st. We're having a food drive at the community center again. And this one is a joint effort with the City of Virginia Gardens and ourselves. And this is from Representative Brian Avila put this together. So I want to thank him. And that's all I have. You have any,
I just want to remind everybody that the Sebastian Strong 5K is this Saturday, the 14th, that's starting at 7 a.m. at the Curtis Mansion. And then they have that evening release of the new beer at the Hops for Hopes at the Tank Brewing Company at 7 p.m. that evening. And then we have our Community Shred Day on Tuesday, on May 17th from 4 to 7 at the Community Center. And residents and businesses can shred up to 4 boxes free of charge. That's it.
Thank you, Tammy.
And one last.
Yes.
I just want to say that I want to just make an announcement that I will be out of the office beginning Wednesday until next week, Monday. I'll be returning Tuesday. I am officially going to pick up my daughter from the University of, from Kansas, KU. She has
Jayhawks, huh?
completed.
Jayhawks,
Rock
yeah.
Chalk She was a former Gator and now she's a Jayhawk.
Jayhawk.
But she has officially graduated with her PhD
Oh,
in
very cool.
psychology, specializing with children with autism.
You got a doctor in the house.
Congratulations.
So her empty nest is about to get full again.
Yeah, they
Not so
find their way
empty
back
anymore.
home, don't they? Yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations, Tammy. What an accomplishment and to her. That's wonderful. Okay, so let's start with the vice mayor.
I was just going to talk about Sebastian Strong, which is going to be this weekend. So anybody who's interested, they could support. They could go to just Google Sebastian Strong 5K, and you can pre-register there. It should be a great event. And and I know it'll come up again because many of you were involved. But the Women's Club did a phenomenal event of Queen for a Day, Mother's Day fashion show that was run by somebody who I'm close to. But all I did was run around and bring ice and do a whole lot of work and not see my wife for 3 weeks. But it seemed like everybody who participated had a great time. And it was a wonderful event. And so we're fortunate to have an organization like the Women's Club doing wonderful events like that in our community.
Okay, Councilman Vasquez.
Okay, I'll pick up right where Walter spoke. I was there at the event with my daughter Sophia because my wife Mayra and two other ladies sitting up on the dais, Jackie Bravo and Mayor Maria Mitchell, and also 9 other women, right, participated in this fashion show. It was terrific. Different organizations and businesses that lent the things that they wore. It was, as I told my colleague to my immediate right, it was a classy event. I really enjoyed thoroughly. I love the Women's Club and all the work that they do. But I want to single out that Adriana Fajet did an outstanding job. I told her that. She said, no, it was a group. I said, yes, I know groups, but groups have to be led. And she was the leader.
She ordered and we marched.
She ordered, yes. And I could tell you because my wife would come home that tired. But because they were preparing. And it was an outstanding event. I was beyond my expectations. So I thought it was.
Welcome to my world. Okay. That's what I get on a daily basis at home.
It was announced that a councilman if I had made about 17 gallons of sangria. I did my best to help put it away, but
Well, was
there
that in the
still a lot
bathtub?
of it left over. If you're thinking about a backyard party or anything like that, call the councilman. He might be available. We may have. I'm sure you all saw. There was a resident sent a note to the city manager about replacement of sidewalks and some issues. And I try to explain to folks, first of all, we need to get the situation. If it's a tree on the swale and it's picking up the sidewalk, we report it, we share it with William, allows the census folks out there and confirm that that's the situation, that sidewalk needs to be replaced and whatever trimming has to take place. And then people get put on a list, right? And so I'm glad to see it's moving, but I know that that's the process. In church every Sunday, number one thing that people stop me at the end of church to tell me is trees and the swale and the sidewalks. And I go, yeah, well, let's get it on. I'll get it over to William and we'll put it on the list. So thank you, William, and the Public Works folks for doing that. And the last thing is that I was asked a question. I was not able to attend the Economic Development and Business Task Force, but I was asked about, so they made some recommendations. My understanding is, talking to the city clerk, is all these recommendations are going to be taken together as part of a final report. So it's not that they pass a resolution and it comes to us, it's that they're all taken together. And hopefully they'll be working with the city staff to prepare whatever format it is they're going to finally present those reports back, down in September after they finish their work. So that was, I just want to make sure that I'm correct in saying that whatever recommendations
They're meeting for a year and then they're
we're
providing
taking
a
all of them
report
together.
with the
It's not one at a
recommendations.
time or
Right.
whenever they come up.
Yes.
Very good. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Councilman Best.
Yes, that was nice to see that ball club up here earlier. It always, especially local teams like that do well, I want to mention a couple more that weren't here tonight, but have gone on to regionals in the county, and that's the Miami Springs High School boys and girls, both teams. The guys were ranked 4th in the state, 13th in the nation a month ago. They've since lost a game. They lost in the regional, they lost in the districts last Thursday. But because of their record, they're automatically grandfathered into the regionals. So they're going to end up playing the same team they lost to last Thursday tomorrow night at Barry University at 7:00. So anybody that wants to go see a good ball game, I can trust you, it will be one. And then, of course, the women, the high school women did win the districts, and they move on to the regionals as well. So for the first time in a long time, we've got both boys and girls from the high school varsity going to regionals for Miami Springs. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And AIE obviously is extremely impressive. And once you get on the bandwagon and get certified with FHSAA, who knows, right? Where that's going to go. So there's that. And then the other thing, I know Ralph and Nancy were here earlier, but just a reminder again of the production, the Shakespeare production we have, which kicks off this coming Friday night, Friday, Saturday, 7:30, 2:00 on Sunday. It runs for the weekend of the 14th, 15th, 13, 14, 15, and then 20, 21, and 22. Again, Friday nights at 7:30 and 2:00 on the matinee for Sunday afternoon. Great piece. Actually, you really get your money's worth, because really there's 3 different plays. The first act is the Shakespeare piece, and then, as Nancy pointed out, it goes into the rescue thing at the end, which is a lot of fun. But he's got a lot of actors involved in this, and backstage, I can just see this already. It's going to be crazy back there. But
Councilman, and you're going to be in all dates? All dates?
Yeah, I'll be in all of the dates. But there's a lot of cast roles that are going to do like the first week, and then another bunch will do for the second, and it's mixed up, and Ralph orchestrated all that. So how that's going to work, but
no matter what day we go to, we get to see your
I'm in all 6. Yeah, I'm in all.
all right, your performance.
I die. Yes, 12 times. That's right. This man knows his arithmetic. I think. Yeah, I know. I get tired of
And
getting
he
off the ground.
resurrects each time.
Yeah. No, I don't have that power, believe me. But it's fun, and it's well thought out. It's kind of a spoof, if you will. I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's kind of a spoof on Shakespeare. A lot of people like Shakespeare, and a lot of people really don't like Shakespeare. Well, this kind of runs the middle of the gamut, It kind of does modern versus Shakespearean diction in its things, and they're quite good, quite well put together. So hopefully all of you that can make it, we'd love to see you out there, and you will be duly entertained. I trust you, Mayor. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, Councilwoman.
All right, so I see so far I'm missing all of the events because I have something going on. So I feel like a really bad councilwoman right now. So I want to donate 2 tickets for at least the Pelican Playhouse. So if you know of anybody that can, just let me know, and I will purchase those for them in my presence, because I can't be there that weekend. And the other weekend, it's my daughter's birthday. Then it's a class trip for school, and I'm heads till June 9th. So I'll be there in heart, but if I can donate 2 tickets, let me know. Also for the Sebastian Strong is on the 14th, Bianca's birthday party. Again, bad councilwoman there, but I will be there in heart and in spirit. Yes, the Queen for a Day was something I've never experienced ever. I think I had, how do you call it? And I say it in Spanish, tachycardia.
Heart attack.
Like running and changing earrings. It was just like, we're women of many roles. Okay. It was very hard to go from businesswoman to councilwoman and then overnight to be a model was very weird. I
Fashion
felt very
diva.
out of my body for quite some time. Yeah, it's changing shifts is very it's interesting. But we got through it. We had fun. It was nice to see all the residents there. The ladies were having a trip and they just made us feel more comfortable. So it just added another level of, I would say, confidence, I guess. So, and I wanted to thank Adriana, Walter's wife. She was phenomenal. She has a huge sense of direction and vision. So that made it all the more helpful. And also a friend of mine and also a known resident here, Jamel Perez. She is a mastermind when it comes to just putting Adriana's visions together. They make a powerful team. And to the women's club, again, it's just, I think one of the reasons why I'm here is because I see how much you can give back. So I just wanted to bring it to another level. And I have a lot of beautiful women I can thank, but I mean, we have so many. I don't want to miss one because they're not going to be shy to tell me 3 things. So I'm going to just leave it at that. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay. I wanted to mention my condolences to the family of Helen Gannon, our former councilwoman. She was, anyone that knew her, she was just a beautiful person in spirit and looks also. And speaking about our fashion show, she always just had a glamour around about her and her passing. So our condolences. She was a very important force in our community for a long time as councilwoman, and just with her activities, her she's a member of the Women's Club and several other organizations. I also wanted to thank George and our engineering group for the grant for resilience. As we were talking before the meeting, you know, cities like Miami Beach and Doral and stuff have a staff of sustainability engineers, not one, but a staff of them that are constantly working on these resiliency issues and flood control and sea level rise and stuff. And we don't have that. And to have your engineering group apply for this grant, have the expertise to apply for this grant and the expertise to know how to apply so that we get it, $174,000, that is just the first step. It by no means will, you know, solve our problems, but it puts us on the path to becoming a more resilient community, to being able to apply for future grants because of the studies that we'll be able to do with this. And it's just really, really important for us because the larger cities around us are taking these steps. And, you know, everyone knows water runs in the direction of, you know, least resistance. So we need to be doing our part. So this is just a really important step in for our city's future. And the other thing is just the fashion show. Yes, the Women's Club. The Women's Club never ceases to amaze me. All of our civic clubs, and I say this all the time, all of our civic clubs never cease to amaze me with the work that they do. You know, the Lions Club did the river cleanup like 2 weeks ago, a massive project. The fashion show, which by the way, Councilman Best, you're the only one that wasn't represented at the fashion show. So next year, so next year we'll have Claire because Councilwoman Bravo, myself, Councilman Fahet, Councilman Vasquez's wives were all participating as models or as the director of the model. And so next year you tell Claire.
Mayor, I'll
that,
take that as an advisement and I'm
grabbing
going to
her.
tell her you said that.
Yes, and that she will.
She'll believe it coming from you.
What was funny was that we were all worried about like, oh my God, we're gonna have enough bathrooms to change, you know, and Adriana's
Modesty
like,
went out of
nobody's
the
gonna be
window.
looking. That went out the
Quickly
door
with
'cause we
rushes.
realized we didn't have time in between.
Yes, but it was a lot of fun and it raised,
It was funny.
it was a fundraiser for the Women's Club. So, but again, I just want to mention to our residents, anyone that's watching, you know, find out about our clubs, the Women's Club, the Rotary Club, the Optimist Club, the Lions Club. We have these clubs and the Girl Scouts, and we have so many opportunities in our community to be involved, to make amazing lifelong friendships And I can tell you that the clubs in our community, and I can't speak for other communities. Well, I do know that other communities, they have dwindling numbers. They have a handful of members that are carrying the club. It doesn't happen in our civic clubs, but I can tell you that our civic clubs, the moment you join, you are a lifelong friend. It's like you've always been there. It's not like you're the new person. I mean, they will adopt you, swallow you, hug you, and put you to work. But it's a great way to make a lot of fun and have a positive impact on our community. And I really thank everyone that is in our civic clubs for that. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Tell Claire next time. Thank you. Bye. You made that, you know.
Good night, everyone.
Action, help with oversight work.
Let me know. I guess I can purchase these online.